Hello everyone, Olga with you. In this video I would like to cover a topic which everybody asked me already since a very long time. I guess I should talk about it earlier. It is why men are not allowed to leave Ukraine and how some men are appearing to be abroad and all these things related to Ukrainian men, their movements outside and war restrictions and so on. I need to say that the defense system in Ukraine, the army system or whatever military arms system built in the way that we don't have army where people are working in the military only as per contract, like in US, for example. You are leaving, you decide that you want to be a military professional, you go to join some kind of courses, sign contract, now you are enrolled in army, and if there is any war happen anywhere in the US or outside, they can engage you and you give full your awareness and full acceptance of these things what will happen. In Ukraine we have system based on different way. We have some military service which is based on contract, but it's not much, and this is at all some kind of relatively recent thing appeared in Ukraine. Before, all men in Ukraine were military obligated and all of them must serve in army. There was some exceptions when they will not serve in army, and while actually our army wasn't really so big, not always they will call every person for army for sure. But anyway, everybody by default is military obligated unless they have some reasons why they shouldn't be. And that is why also in our law we have the statements that if there is a war in the country, and war, this is the last stage, it's not like we are in some kind of crisis or we have some terroristic operation. No, it's war. The whole country is getting bombed. You know what's happening right now in Ukraine. So this is the last stage, and for sure in this stage all people who are military obligated, they will not be allowed to leave the country because this is their main responsibility to defend the country as per the law. So that is why they cannot leave. It's not because our government is bad or they want to keep people inside, but it's just because this is how our kind of like system work in Ukraine. At the same time, not everybody is military obligated, and the one who is not military obligated, he for sure can leave the country. There's another thing which a lot of people are getting confused, and they think that it is everybody from 18 to 60 who is male gender. They will not allow him to go abroad, even if there will be foreigners who will come to Ukraine. Some of them afraid that they will not be able to get out because of this law. So I will tell you for sure, this law has nothing to do with foreigners. Foreigners of any age and gender are able to come and leave Ukraine freely, totally. You don't own anything to Ukraine. This law is just regarding Ukrainians, and not even all Ukrainians, but just military obligated men. Now I will tell you a bit detailed who are not military obligated and who has right to do whatever he wants, go abroad and so on, just based on this law. Okay, so first of all, there was some people on vacation before the war started, or they was working abroad, or they was just going out for family visit, friends visit, vacation or whatever. And those people appear to be abroad in the moment when the war started, and many of them wasn't able to return even because the flights was cancelled, and they actually appear to be outside. And if they was with their families, I can 100% understand that for sure those people in the first days of war, they will not run back to Ukraine because the things was getting very bad, worse and worse and worse in the whole first months, I guess. Such people, they appear to be abroad, and if they was having money and opportunity to stay abroad, they were staying abroad and maintaining their life there. I also want to say that many European countries, they put restrictions on who can apply for temporary protection, like these refugee things, based on their law, and many of those countries, they put restrictions that you must leave Ukraine after 24 February. I met in refugee this place in Denmark. When I came, I met one family who went out, I guess they was in Portugal also in some kind of visit, and they wasn't wasn't able to return to Ukraine, and they wasn't able to get temporary protection also because they leave before 24. So even it's not just men, but even women and kids, they must return back to Ukraine, then get out, then they can ask for protection in these countries. At least it was rule in Denmark. There is such things, and there is category of Ukrainians which was abroad before war started. It's not a big amount of people, but it was certain amount of people also outside, and man was among them. And I can understand that, yes, if they are with family outside, why they need to leave their family and come back to Ukraine, even we don't have such obligation over man that you must come back if you're outside. There is no must, but you cannot leave. Then, by the way, a second thing that once the shooting started, and they started at 4 a.m. in the morning, so many people instantly start leaving the country and going abroad. And the rule comes that men cannot leave, I guess it comes on something like 24 in evening. So all people who was able to pass and cross the border before that moment, including men, they all get out also. Another rules, another exceptions from the government of the people who are not able to serve in army and they're not military obligated person are single parent of the child. So if there is no mom and the man is the only one and he has the child which is below 18 years old, he is free to do whatever he wants. He can go out and he will not be called for the military service unless he will go by his own wish, but by law he will not be called for such service. Also, man who has 3 kids and more, they are able to leave the country also with their families and live abroad. Also, parent of the kids with disability. So if there are any kids who has any kind of disabilities, they also can leave the country. Man, the parent of such kid, he can leave the country together with his child and go abroad. Another thing is the one who cannot serve in army by any means. So, for example, if he has some kind of medical disability, he is handicapped, and not all disabilities are visible. I just want to tell you, because sometimes people say that I see a lot of men abroad and they looks like very normal, very healthy, and you don't know how the person is healthy or not, because he can have some heart problems, he can have vision problems, he can have any kind of internal things inside, which is making him actually certified disabled in Ukraine. He can have something with his brain or whatever, I guess 1 kidney or any kind of, so many actually things that you cannot really see, and doesn't mean this is the person who doesn't have legs or hands. It could be a person who looking totally very normal from outside, and he's mentally normal, but he has some medical reasons why he is considered disabled, and such people, they're also not military obligated and they can leave the country. Now, out of all these medical reasons, we have people whose job is related to going out abroad. So, for example, this is truck drivers, train staff, sailors, I guess especially truck drivers, because they are really a lot and they're always driving here and there. And now also they add volunteers and the one who is delivering humanitarian packages and all these kind of things, for sure. Those functions cannot be held only by women, and those men has right to go abroad. They just need to present the proper documents and they can go out of Ukraine. Also, men who are permanently living abroad, he can enter Ukraine and leave Ukraine without problem. So, for example, we have so many Ukrainians who are living for a very long time outside in European countries and anywhere actually in the world, and they have their family here and their job here and so on. And once the war started, these people are the one who can, and they, for example, want to help. They can bring a lot of things to Ukraine. They can come join some kind of events in Ukraine or whatever, some volunteering help, but they cannot stay for a long time because they have their job and hold their life here, and maybe they left Ukraine 10 or 15 years back or 20. So such people, they have, if they have permanent residence, for example, in other countries, such Ukrainian men, they can freely get out of Ukraine, and Ukraine will not lock them inside if they are not actually living here. Another category is Ukrainians who has another citizenship. So besides having Ukrainian citizen, you can have any other citizenship. And also such people, if they are living in Ukraine and they are showing their foreign passport, they are free to go. And the last thing, which how many men are living, this is through occupied territories. So if you are in occupied territory already and Russians invaded those territories, these people, they sometimes have very big problem to go to Ukrainian territories due to fights, due to so many reasons, and filtration camps, they may not be able to get out or whatever. So those people, Russia organized for them very easy access to Russia, because they actually want to show that so many people run to Russia and seeking their protection. Kind of like claiming that this is because they don't want to live under Ukrainian government. But anyway, these people, they can exit to Russia, and from Russia they can go anywhere else abroad and ask also for temporary protection in any European countries or come to US or Canada. So this is how it works. And I know that so many men really left through the occupied territories and living outside now. So that was basically, I guess, now I describe more reasons how men can get outside of Ukraine, the men who are not military obligated, and now you can understand better why there are some men outside of Ukraine and how they was able to get out. And sometimes people write me that we know that you can just bribe somebody and get documents and go abroad. And I will not deny that such things can happen for sure. Anywhere, I guess, in the world. But I know that our government also is tracking such things which is happening. So, for example, recently we was having people from people who are disabled. They can just bring some paper from some kind of like medical commission, and which will say that, oh yes, this person is handicapped, disabled, and that was enough. And our government also noticed that there is some such cases that yes, they can just make you such paper for money, and they stopped this option and they said no, you need to bring paper from the social departments that you are receiving these payments as disabled. You need to bring some we have some kind of like ID document which will state that you are disabled or whatever. So you need to bring these things from the government, not things from the hospital, which will just somebody will write you on the paper that this is the person and done. So this is just a very recent one. I guess this happened 2 weeks back, but I know that they always tracking these things and they try to minimize the risks, so people will have will do something based on bribes. And as you see, based on what I said, there are plenty of reasons when you can legally leave the country if you really want to go abroad. And I just want to say that not everybody want to go abroad at all. But if you, because some people think that this is a dream of everybody, while actually it's not, and so many people returning to the territories which is under the shelling and bombing from other relatively more safe places in Ukraine just because they want to come back home. So if somebody is living relatively fine in his home, he will not really dream to go abroad where he has nothing actually. So yeah guys, that was more clear picture of the things, how our things in Ukraine happening, how men can live, and I hope this was interesting and informative for you. And please write me your feedback. What do you think about those restrictions, and if you really see a lot of Ukrainian men outside? Okay, thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye bye.